something a bit different. Speaking with the team, and I know it's been such a long time since I put out our monthly email, a few weeks late. It's been full blown up and down to Edinburgh, setting up our residency store on the Royal Mile. So I've just been like living out a suitcase. But yeah, I was just thinking about how we do our monthly email and how anyone that knows me, I talk for Scotland, and how do I do emails without having loads of words and getting all of this information. And I thought, oh, do you know what? I'll maybe try just doing little films. So if I do a couple of little films in the email, you can just watch at your leisure, and then I'll just put a bunch of links down below, and then maybe after you've watched the different films, you can kind of find out more from it. So this is a bit of a late March, coming now to the end of April. Oh my god, where does time go? And yeah, so what has been happening in the world of prickly thistle? I have a list to remind me of all of the things. But yeah, so kicking off, I just wanted to share with everyone that we were so excited to be at the V&A in Dundee last month, at the preview launch of the major tartan exhibition that they've been working on for such a long time. And yeah, it's going to run until I think January next year. So if you are in Scotland or you live in Scotland, I would highly recommend you go. It's completely different. I have to confess, I was so busy that night, I didn't get many pictures. I need to go back on my own just to take it all in and not chat. So I have a picture of John Brown's pants and also some pictures of prickly thistle pieces. So yeah, so we're in the exhibition, which we're absolutely thrilled to say we are. Thank you to the V&A, to the curators, to James and to Claire and the rest of the team for letting us be part of it. So we've got 50 little samples in the tailor's table, and there's some quite well-known tartans there, other businesses we work with, individuals we've worked with, and some of our own tartans in there. So yeah, so it's just to show the different design aesthetic that can come from tartan, that we hopefully are becoming a bit known for, in doing things in a non-traditional way. So V&A tartan exhibition, so one museum last month, more information coming on museum number 2 that we are going to be part of as well. So pretty cool, 2 museums. And then I do laugh and joke, and for those that have kind of see some of our cards that we put in your parcels and what we used to put on the social media, Instagram in particular, and we still refer to it. So the line of "what will she say in 200 years?" And we know with one museum project in particular, it will be here in 200 years. So somebody will say something, whether we're prickly thistle is here or not. We've kind of got a little tick against that. So yeah, so the V&A, go see. Met some fantastic people. I went along with Howie from 21st Century Quilts. We had an absolute blast. I met Graham McTavish, so it was so nice to see him because I haven't seen him since 2019 when they came and filmed Men in Kilts at the Mill. So yes, it was really good to see him. Finlay was there, and his husband Alan, so got some pictures with them. Amazing Amy from WeBox came along, so invited her along, and we've got a really exciting project coming up with Amy and the WeBox tartan. So if you're also following them, more to come on that. So yeah, she just looks stunning. She had this gorgeous dress and this beautiful wrap piece. So yeah, she's just stunning. So V&A, go and check it out. Link will be in this email. So next, also I'll put some extra links on. We've put some stuff on YouTube. We took part in the Don't Walk Fashion Catwalk, which was a catwalk St Andrews University do every year to raise money for charity. So we had our Black Elements collection there with some really cool music, took me back to my younger uni days. And yeah, it was just fantastic. I mean, just incredible venue. They did this great show. You know, it wasn't just about the clothing, it was, you know, there was lots of performing arts and stuff like that. So but it was really nice for us always to see our pieces on other people, and we loved the vibe because it was really cool, funky dance music, and the girls that wore them just look amazing. So there'll be a link to more behind the scenes on the Don't Walk fashion show that we did. So that was St Andrews, and hopefully we can do more with them as well. Also, yeah, as I mentioned at the beginning, new residency store in we're the Rebel on the Royal Mile. 59 High Street with Howie Nicholsby and John Webster. So they both have their brands, 21st Century Kilts with Howie and Jeffrey Taylor Kilts with John. They're the most sweetest guys ever. Been there for a month now. They've not chucked me out. I laugh and joke and say, is this like an episode of Friends where I'm like the weird girl that's moved in and starts moving stuff? But so far, so good. But yes, we've got a few pieces down there. I'm in the static store at the mill tonight, sitting on this little seat. So we still have a few bits and pieces at our mill shop, and our tours are open again, so you can come and see bits and pieces here if you're up in the Highlands. And we've got some of these pieces down in Edinburgh, and on our Visit Us page you can see the days that I'm actually down there. You can book an appointment if you wanted to make sure that we have time to catch up. And yeah, so really great being in Edinburgh, because I'm going to literally the opening of an envelope, just to kind of be out and meet people. And yeah, usually I'm here late in the evening in this estate, as I call it, industrial estate, and there's normally not many people floating about in the evening, but when you go to Edinburgh there's just loads of stuff on. So it's been really good connecting with people that I've got to know but never met, just with COVID, what have you, and being based up here. So lots of coffees, lots of events that I've been going to. We held our own little kind of event, a very kind of low key, getting some women together, maybe thinking about how we can do a monthly supper club. More ideas around all of that, because I know we've done the Stitch and Bitch here. It would be great to do more of that in Edinburgh. So ideas are rolling. But yeah, so with being in Edinburgh and talking about me going to the opening of envelopes, no, I haven't gone to the opening of envelopes, but you know, it depends what's inside the envelope. I might just go. But last week I went to the cross-party working group event for the circular economy, which had members of Scottish Parliament there. So Lorna Slater was there, and also Maurice Golden, and there was a special hosted night by them for the delivery of this white paper, which 3 amazing women have been working on for a long time, and this was presenting this to Parliament. So it was Dr. Lynn Wilson, Professor Deirdre Shaw and Dr. Kat Duffy. So they've produced this document, and this is about evidencing, as they've called it, the need for a national citizens clothing circularity strategy. So this is something that they've been looking into and really asking our government to take action. It's been discovered that, you know, our textiles waste, household waste, is a fairly low percentage. I'll clarify in this email if I've got it wrong. I think it's like 4% or something. It's quite low in terms of tonnage, but so much higher in terms of carbon. And we have no real circular textile strategy whatsoever as to how to deal with that. So one is, how do we deal with waste? But I always say, excuse my French, but if it's shit in, it's shit out. How do we actually clean up what is going into our textile circular economy so that we're not having to deal with shit, basically? So this was really good. Room full of really incredible, impressive people there. Super passionate about just cleaning up textiles, and Scotland just doing more, considering that we're world famous for textiles. So this white paper, I have asked them what's happening now, what's next steps, you know, now that it's been delivered. Do Scottish Government debate it? Do they put a public consultation out? You know, this is great to have this, but it's what's next is the most important thing. But I just, you know, some of the things they picked up on, which I was sitting there quite proudly of what myself and the whole team at Prickly Thistle, nothing without the guys that work here. So proud of actually what we've achieved together in 5 years, when the workings for this report and research has been 6 years in the making, and we're 5 years old. So they were kind of looking at clothing use, and they were looking at, so this is just the kind of key things I'll just want to comment on. So they did some research findings. They've said about consumer clothing acquisition. So they've said about temporality. So that basically they'd found in the research that a lot of adults could only wear clothing for a limited period of time. So if it was during or after pregnancy, if it's weight fluctuations, if it's for an occasion, i.e. a wedding, they were buying something just for a wedding. But that's another thing, like, why would you just wear something to a wedding and not anything else? But because it doesn't say wedding dress only on it, to my mind. But yes, the pregnancy, weight gains, seasonal wear, etc. And then there was just, you know, so sizing was a big part of this, you know, problem, that we could only wear things for a certain amount of time. And this is where it kind of dawned on me that actually, well, we make clothes that have size ranges built in. So I was like, okay, little tip for Prickly Thistle. We don't do zips or buttons because we know they limit. We create garments that follow form. If we do have any hardware on it, it's the kilt strap. And we offer free alterations on that all the time, but there's 3 inches of sizing. We've got kilts that become capes. We've got coats that become jackets, you know. And so, yeah, so I thought, well, instead of thinking, how do we deal with all of this excess clothes that don't fit people anymore? It's like, how can we make clothes actually have that wider range and have that wider use? So for me, it's like, let's, you know, there's this analogy that instead of running to the bath with another bucket to catch the water that's overflowing, we just turn the tap off. So they picked up on that, and I thought, well, we've got part of a solution for that. That's not how do we deal with all of this waste. We've actually can get rid of the waste. Poor quality purchases was another thing that people were kind of, was the research feedback. Basically things stretching out shape, when it's been washed, it's discolored, etc. Wool doesn't need washed. Amazing. Has memory muscle in it. So yeah, so I was kind of like, okay, so maybe it's not so much that what do we do with these misshapen clothes? Should we actually have more of these misshapen clothes allowed to be sold and manufactured? Could we do better at the outset as manufacturers? Absolutely. Hoarding, that was another thing, that people are kind of hoarding loads and loads of clothes. I was one of them. I have a massive wardrobe full of stuff, and yeah, it's quite embarrassing actually, probably what I bought in the best part of 20 years. So I totally get how that happens. And then, but we started the 4 times year collection a year ago. A Hot and Cold Institute report came out last year. It was about buying only 4, maybe 5 maximum new items a year, but go thrifting, you know, reimagine your clothes, share your clothes. So yeah, so hoarding, you know, in the sense of, I suppose that's us feeling like we need to have looks for every different occasion. And it's, I think it's more of a mindset change that, you know, we kind of think of maybe probably not that long ago that one wardrobe with 2 doors was all that people had, and we didn't have rooms that were for our clothes. So hoarding, I think it's just getting round to thinking we should buy less and buy better. Clothing use, they were talking about some of the problems that people were talking about bacteria, and they were talking about the hygiene concerns, and how the sort of the smells and the staining and everything was building up in some particular fabrics. Wool's antibacterial, it's stain resistant, you know, lots of natural fibres have all of this built in. So this report didn't dive into, was it synthetic fibres or was it natural fibres, but it kind of said, well, actually, if it's natural fibres, the chances of bacteria being a problem are much, much lower. Then they talked about moths, how moths are a problem because they eat wool, they love natural fibres. And, you know, I kind of think, one is, what do the moths know that we don't know? Because they're not eating the polyester or the synthetics, so they clearly know something. And but yeah, moths, you know, it's probably, again, hands up, I have it. I've just loads of clothes in my wardrobe that actually I never take out from one year to the next. And I think for me, kind of get round to having really cool, flexible size range built-in clothing we wear on a regular basis, then the moth's favourite place to go is a dark space where something's not been moved for a while, and they'll just feast on it. But actually, if we've got less in our wardrobe and we're wearing it on a regular basis, then I think the moth problem will be as extensive as I think as they found, because we're probably not wearing this natural fibre stuff enough. But yeah, I do think, has anyone thought, why is the moth not eating the synthetic fibres? More to come on that. Yeah, clothing disposal, you know, talking about all these different things for clothing disposal in Scotland, what we could do, household bins, how we donate, resale on digital platforms. We've launched our Repeal It. I don't know if anyone knows about that. We have a Repeal It marketplace where anybody who wants to sell a piece of prickly thistle, then you can do that with us and we'll share it with our customers. If there's something you want to pass on to a new home, we can help you do that. So yes, we've done some of this kind of reuse sharing platform stuff before, but yeah, the clothing disposal, it's kind of one of my things, like, wow, we've got to kind of deal with this mass waste. And I think it's, you know, as I say, going back to turning the tap off, like, how do we actually reduce our waste instead of how do we deal with the waste and just make it okay that we can just keep buying and buying and buying? Because the truth is, sometimes we're just buying and buying and buying and we don't really love everything. We maybe should. So that was some of their kind of research findings. And then yeah, so conclusion, obviously, to make more circular, because this is the circular strategy, And as I say, circular strategy, how do we design out waste in the first place, like zero waste pattern making, like what we do at Prickly Thistle. And not only is it the waste when we make it, but actually you've got really cool usable squares, rectangles and triangles. And if you wanted to seriously cut up a piece of Prickly Thistle clothing, you're left with these really cool simple shapes that you can actually repurpose and reuse for something else. So yeah, so the circular economy strategy, I think it's great that it's at government and all of these things are now going to be talked about at this level, but it's, you know, how do we have less waste, I think is a really good point to cover off. And yeah, and as I say, like going back to our Lego system, can we all become Lego builders or have Lego builders in our community? And then effectively we have no waste, everything is, you know, is circular and it's at a lower level. So anyway, this was the event I was at, say, in Edinburgh. I'm going to be at Scottish Parliament again this week. There's another event I'm going to, Fashion Revolution Week. So yeah, so they're hosting an event, Scottish Parliament are hosting an event for them, so I'm going to go along to that as well. So I'll put links to this. You can see the films. Films are brilliant. The three women have done an amazing job, and I think for me it's about seeing that being discussed in Parliament shows that we're going to start taking this seriously. It's a bit of an elephant in the room. It's not just what we wear. It's, you know, it's a big issue, big deal to the environment. And then yeah, the slavery and everything that comes in behind making it, and the health benefits of wearing natural fibres versus the unknown health implications of not. Something to talk about with that as well. In fact, I could probably jump to that now because I've got all my props. So some of the projects we're working on, yeah, our school uniform project's still going. The kids are just back from their Easter holidays, so we're looking to do a kind of fast track with a new cohort on that. Also a couple other research updates. So our wool project with Edinburgh University is now moving into the stage where we're going to have a PhD funded support on that, so that'll be great. Really interesting conversations with an organisation, a social enterprise company that's been looking at the whole wool industry in Wales and see how we can do more with them. They have done some amazing stuff, definitely way ahead of Scotland. With another partner in the industry, we're looking at doing a project that really maps the wool trail in terms straight from the farmer right through to the end consumer and then the post-consumer route, so that we can understand how we can make Scotland more circular in our industry, and how many bits of the jigsaw are we missing in terms of processing. And you know, and it's going beyond clothes because wool can be used for so many things. So that's a little bit of a project we're picking up with another university in the summer, with another amazing mill, weaving mill, who's based in Murrayshire. And yeah, so really excited to be working with them on that. Also another research project we're doing is going back to the kind of point I made about healthy implications of wearing natural fibres or not. There's this book, I think I've shared it on our WhatsApp, Killer Clothes. It's incredible, and there's also a YouTube film about this guy, Brian Clement, who's talking about the research that he's done. So yes, this is eye-opening, and links will be in the email. And we are doing a bit of sort of fundamental research in Scotland because it's not been done before. I'm just really interested to know what is the health implications of wearing clothing that's not made with natural fibres. I'll say no more than that. If you want to check out the film, buy the book, have a read. You read it and you go, wow, and then you go, kind of makes sense. So, Killer Clothes, bit of a scary title, but honestly, have a look. Watch the film, it doesn't cost anything. But so yeah, but we're doing some research in Scotland on that, and hopefully this just kind of all helps feed through to our passion for making the industry better, for unlearning what consumers have been in sort of I suppose we've been implied. I'm trying to think of the wording here, you know, because I never thought about any of this before I started Prickly Thistle. And if somebody talked about it 10, 20 years ago and like in my space, I would have been fascinated, and it would have just completely changed back then, but it was just never ever talked about. So so yeah, so for us it's about how can we, you know, just help fabric of the planet more than anything else, and then just do it in our usual one tartan at a time way. So Killer Clothes, well worth watching YouTube or getting the book if you really want to as well. Other updates. Do I hit end now and do another film? Potentially. I'm already 20 minutes in. But yeah, I'll do another little film because we've got some updates on some new garments that we've made in our one-off collection. We've got a couple of new things in our 4x a year batch now: pirate pants jumper, samurai kilt, and little samurai bolero. So I could show you some pictures of them. But yeah, it was just really sort of a run through of some of the things we've been up to in the since the last monthly email went out. Just to let you know, always check out the galleries. So we have galleries that are images, galleries that are some films. We have done a couple of lives. I'm speaking again to the team. I was like, right, I really need to get, you know, maybe people don't think I'm shy, but I'm not like one of those people that will grab my phone for everything. And I forget when you meet people, it's like, oh, let's get a picture. I'm not really good with that. And I'm not really good at just filming moments, I have to confess. But I need to probably get better at that, to share more. And I just think, you know, if I could do these things more often, the lives or even just the little films about the adventures and what we're doing, and it's not just new product or anything like that, it's new discoveries, it's new sense of purpose, it's making a difference, it's fun things that we've been doing. So yeah, so I'm going to make a conscious effort to do more just little films, and they'll be on the galleries. And then when we do a weekly email or a monthly email, it'll just be a case of just watch the films, make it easy, and then hopefully make it more personable, because I know we're off social media, and on that we are kind of just in the throes of set up our We Are 8 profile, and then these films I'll be putting on there as well. So this is a new platform. It's a B Corp certified company that set it up, and yeah, check it out. It's like any new platform, it takes a while to get used to, I think. But what I love about what they're doing is just the kindness and the transparency, and that it's not your data purely for commercial reasons. You can follow creators, you can follow people that you really admire, and who you follow is what you see. So I really like that about it. And but yeah, really interesting on the social media space. Depending on who's listening to this, there was this advert I saw last week that was shared on LinkedIn. So I still go on LinkedIn, but not probably personal, not personals, but personal business, if you like. Excuse me, lovely cold. And yeah, there was this just amazing advert that Dove had created, and I'll put a link to it in this email as well. And it was just really about the impact, and this quite close to me with my own daughter. It was different for her, but it was just showing you the impact and the negative effects of social media to this little girl and her developing anorexia and the pressures. And for my daughter it was slightly different. It was more from a bullying perspective, and how, you know, this kind of trolling and toxicity that can come on social media. So yeah, so that was, I just thought it was really interesting and really moving and really powerful, and just thinking about how can we create these kinder spaces where in the interest of the person who's got the responsibility for running the platform, puts people first, as opposed to profit, I would say. And I'm all for connectivity, and I'm all for social, and these all things used to be really great when Facebook started. It was like, yes, we can connect with all the people that you're at uni with or your family you didn't see before, and I'm sure it's probably still really good for a lot of people. But I think as a business we really struggle with it, because it's designed to be this big marketing machine, and that's where the business bit fits in. And yeah, just in this country we used to have yellow pages and a phone book, and yellow pages was business and a phone book was personal. And I'm just like, we just want to be in that yellow pages thing where we are a business, and we are super friendly, don't get me wrong, but we know we're a business and we're not trying to, you know, it's just, yeah, I could talk about this for ages. But yeah, this Dove advert is really interesting. And also in this country we've had quite a few people talking about how younger kids are like really interested in getting flip phones. They don't want, you know, they're going to have maybe ditch their kind of high-tech latest iPhone for something that's flip. They can close it off. They call it the death scroll. So it's really quite interesting to see where people, you know, different people are thinking differently about it. And I think, yeah, for us it's been really nice, just calm mental health for the business and us behind it, probably me in particular, just taking time out. But it's just finding our way of just making sure that we can still reach out and say hello. So with tours still here, brilliant. We've had so many people already, seeing people in Edinburgh, and yes, me doing these films, and just anyone emailing any time. We've got lovely Gemma, Lauren and Jenny who are on the shop email. So they're the little rebel customer service team. So they man that 4 days a week, and anyone has any questions or wants to ask anything or even wants to see a film, and maybe it's like, we're sick of Claire, we want to see somebody in the mill tell us about XYZ. Honestly, just ask us, because you wouldn't believe the amount of times you're sitting there going, well, what we share, what we doing? You get a bit of a brain fog and you get a mind, you get this blank in your head, and you know, and you guys know more than anybody else what you want to hear and see and find out about. So just hit us with your requests, and if you can chuck it into shop, the girls will pick it up and they will make sure it happens. And yeah, we just want to be relevant to you. So yeah, just the best thing is just to reach out and tell us what you want to see. So I will wrap up with that. I will do the couple other little films on the new products, because I feel like I don't want to be one of those brands that like, here's all our purpose, and by the way, buy this. I feel it's really important to let you know what we're doing, and the activism is something I'm really personally invested in, because I want to make a difference for everyone. And if we can stay this little company, prove the point, and see lots of little mills in the future in lots of countries, then that's what it's all about. So I love the purpose part of everything we do here, but I know to keep doing with that, you guys are supporting us and buying hopefully what you think is beautiful, really cool, funky clothes. I stole these. These are the Black Elements pirate pants. They were in the fashion show and I got them back the other week, and I was like, I've literally had them on every day since. Well, I'll tell a lie. Between another pair, I've worn them pretty much every day between 2 pairs, but I absolutely love them. They're so, and we've got the one belt. But anyway, I'm going to go and do another film because I feel like that's more important. If you want to hear more about products and you wanted to buy something, then that's in a separate space. This was just to say, we're going to try something new. I'm just going to blather. I'll try and keep this shorter because this is really, really long. I will get into the swing of it. And whatever you want to hear about, updates, totally transparent, ask us anything. There's always stuff I've missed. I'm looking at my list, but I'll do it on the other one. So anyway, this is the new format for emails. It's a little bit of a chat, and I'll see you again. Bye.